UN News.
You mentioned earlier a bit about Hezbollah, which for those who don't know, that's the Israeli word for like propaganda, right?
Right.
And the ones who invent and peddle it, I think it was Matt Kennard was the first one I saw using it, has baristas, right? And that might be just the Israeli word for the people who do that, but I kind of thought it was a funny play on words with barista. So either way, which, you know, you should be boycotting the has baristas at Starbucks, probably, seeing as how their company still gives Israel money, right? But so I saw this, right? So this is from Zachary Foster. The Nazi propagandist Joseph Goebbels would have been proud of Israel's legitimization cell, just reported by 972 Mag, a unit whose purpose is to try to convince you that journalists are terrorists. I don't even know what to say anymore. So we're just going to read that full article because that's what we do here, right? So this is from Yuval Abraham over at 972, which 972 is a supposed left-wing Israeli publication, right? So, you know, keep those you know, skeptical glasses on as you read this. But they write, legitimization cell, Israeli unit tasked with linking Gaza journalists to Hamas, treating the media as a battlefield. A secretive army intelligence squad scoured Gaza for material to bolster Israeli Hezbollah, including questionable claims that would justify the killing of Palestinian reporters. So we reported on the killing of those Al Jazeera journalists recently, and we pushed back on a lot of this Hezbollah, but now you're going to see where that Hezbollah came from, right? So the Israeli military has operated a special unit called the Legitimization Cell, tasked with gathering intelligence from Gaza that can bolster Israel's image in the international media. According to 3 intelligence sources who spoke to 972, and local call confirmed the unit's existence. Established after October 7th, the unit sought information on Hamas's use of schools and hospitals for military purposes, and on failed rocket launches by armed Palestinian groups that harmed civilians in the enclave. It has also been assigned to identify Gaza-based journalists it could portray as undercover Hamas operatives, in an effort to blunt growing global outrage over Israel's killing of reporters, the latest of whom was Al Jazeera journalist Anza al-Sharif, killed in an Israeli airstrike this past week. According to the sources, legitimization cell motivation was not security, but public relations. Driven by anger that Gaza-based reporters were smearing Israel's name in front of the world, its members were eager to find a journalist they could link to Hamas and mark as a target, one source said. The source described a recurring pattern in the unit's work. Whenever criticism of Israel in the media intensified on a particular issue, the legitimization cell was told to find intelligence that could be declassified and employed publicly to counter the narrative. If the global media is talking about Israel killing innocent journalists, then immediately there's a push to find one journalist who might not be so innocent, as if that somehow makes killing the other 20 acceptable, the intelligence source said. Often it was just Israel's political echelon that dictated to the army which intelligence areas the unit should focus on. Another source added, information gathered by the legitimization cell was also passed regularly to the Americans through direct channels. I wonder how that worked out. That's a secret little bit of information. What Americans, right? That's what I want to know. You know,
right.
I'm betting press is what I'm betting. Intelligence officers said they were told their work was vital to allowing Israel to prolong the war. Okay. The team regularly collected intelligence that could be used for Hezbollah, say a stockpile of Hamas weapons found in a school, anything that could bolster Israel's international legitimacy to keep fighting. Another source explained the idea was to allow the military to operate without pressure so countries like America wouldn't stop supplying weapons. So clearly they're worried about that, aren't they? So the unit also sought evidence linking Gaza's police to the October 7th attack in order to justify targeting them and dismantling Hamas's civilian security force, one source familiar with the legitimization cell work said. Two of the intelligence sources recounted that in at least one case since the war began, the cell misrepresented intelligence in a way that allowed for the false portrayal of a journalist as a member of Hamas. They were eager to label him as a target, as a terrorist, to say it's okay to attack him, one source recalled. They said during the day he's a journalist, at night he's a platoon commander. Everyone was excited, but there was a chain of errors and quarter cutting. In the end, they realized he really was a journalist, the source continued, and the journalist wasn't targeted. For now, until they find something they can fucking pin on this guy, right? So, a similar pattern of manipulation is evident in the intelligence presented on al-Sharif. According